Hey guys, Adam from N.AUTO Automotive here, and this week we're looking at the easiest mod you can do for under 50 bucks for your truck or your Jeep. And right here we got these pod lights. They're floods, not spots, to give you that wide range of view, more than the length that your headlights give you. Now for both sides, including the wiring and the switch and everything like that, under 50 bucks. And we'll come inside here and we'll show you how everything's hidden and how there's no dangling wires or anything like that, so it looks 100% stock. Okay guys, this is what we need to install those pods. We already have the one on the truck. We have the other one here with the mounting bracket and hardware. We're getting our drill with a brush to remove any paint for a good ground inside the mirror. We have our drill bits to go with the drill. We have our wire, our positive and our negatives are red and black. A snake for the wire or a piece of coat hanger. Assorted screwdrivers and pliers. Just take everything apart and play around with the wires. A marker to mark where you need to drill holes. Wrenches and ratchet set to take everything apart inside and to kind of take the mirror off if you need to. Butt connectors and your pliers to connect the wiring. Just a set of those screwdrivers and some files just to clean everything up. A knife to cut your heat shrink. And a torch to light your heat shrink. A little dielectric grease. And electrical tape just to make sure that you never have to do it again. Okay guys, so we're on the driver's side here. Now, we're gonna mark put the light in here, so we know where our bracket's gonna be. I got a marker and a tape measure, so we can mark so it's symmetrical to the other side. We want it a little bit closer to this inside pivot, because the way we're drilling this hole and putting it through, we need to be able to get a nut on the bottom. So what we did, on this side, we're gonna drill a hole in here, so you can see right in, and get the nut on the bottom, so you can tighten it up to make your bracket sit like this. When the light comes back around, it sits straight. Okay guys, so we have our pilot hole drilled into the top of the mirror here. Now our next thing is we need to get this nut or this bolt through the top. So we have different drill bits here. What you want to do is you want to make it just slightly bigger than the bolt. You don't want something like this where it's massive and the thing's going to float around. Something like this is very close but a little bit too tight. You want something like this one right here that's just bigger, so there's just enough room to go through and it won't wobble around when you tighten it up. Okay, so we have our pilot hole here, and it guides our larger size here so it doesn't walk around on us. So we're just going to drill through. As you can see, our bolt fits in there perfectly. Now it's time to drill the hole in the end so we can get the nut on the bottom of this. Okay guys, we're going to drill the hole in the end here to get our nut through. Alright, now that's our pilot. We're going to grab a bigger drill bit here so that we can throw the nut on it. Don't worry, these drills are shit. There we go. There's our hole so we can get the nut in the bottom. Okay guys, so we got our hole here and our hole in the bottom so we can get our nut through. So here's our bracket and our bolt. Slip that through and slip that in. And Mike, if you can get inside there, you can see the bottom of the bolt. So we should be able to get a nut on that. A little bit of Loctite, we'll tighten that up and it'll never move again. We can set it where we want it, and once it's closed, you never know it's there. Okay guys, so we got our nut with our thread locker on it through the hole with the bolt. So what we're gonna do is insert it like this and then screw the bolt into the top. Once we get that done, we'll show you how we're gonna tighten it up. As you can see here guys, we got the nut on the bottom there. Took a little longer than we thought. We had to drill the hole just a tiny bit bigger, but now we can tighten it up and get this set where we want it. Okay guys, we have this thing tightened up right now. You can see it's not moving. Close the mirror and it's straight for the front of the vehicle. So throw the light in it now. Okay guys, so we have our light here. As you can see, when we put it in there, it's offset to the one side, it's not quite in the middle. So we're going to loosen off the nut here on the bottom. Slide that back and forth. So we can kind of have it set to where we want it, to where the kind of middle is. So somewhere around there. Gonna keep that where it is. Tighten it up. Test fit. And that looks pretty good to me. Okay guys, so I got our hardware here. And I put a little bit of thread locker inside the threads there. We're just gonna go ahead and throw these little bolts in here. This is just to get it started on here. Alright, so we'll tighten those up, put the other two on the other side. I'll get this done. Alright, so if you come over here guys, we got these somewhat tightened up. If you come to the side of the vehicle over here, you can see that we can adjust the pitch of this. We want it straight, this face straight to the front of the vehicle. So right about there looks pretty good to me, so we'll just tighten it up where it sits. Okay guys, so we have our light here. We gotta take this panel off on the inside so we can run our wire through. Screwdriver and a couple clips and it comes off. As you can see, these two bolts right here. Take the mirror off if we ever need to, and this wire for your heated and power mirrors. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the drill bit and we're gonna go right up here in on an angle so it comes out, pops out right about here on the side so we can feed that wire through. Okay guys, here we go with a small drill bit for the pilot. Okay guys, we got the bigger drill bit here, the same size as the wire. We're gonna feed this through and start drilling our hole. There we go, we run our wire through there. Okay guys, we're just gonna feed our wire through that hole there. Oh, there they are. Pair of pliers, pull the wire. As you can see, on both sides. Okay guys, so we have our wire coming through our hole here. Now, on this clip right here goes into that hole. So what we gotta do is we gotta elongate the hole a little bit so this can fit in there. Now instead of doing the hole first, we don't know exactly where it's gonna come out over on the plastic. So doing it after, we can guarantee that we got a nice clean line and it's not gonna get sucked into the side of this plastic mirror. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. We're gonna cut that out. Chuck on the drill's fucked. Next size up. Okay, we got our final size here. As you can see, it can fit through. So what you want to do is you want to take a file and just kind of clean up the hole a little bit. Make everything a lot easier and not sharp on the outside of the wire. Alright guys, we're going to pull out this top bolt for the mirror here. That's where we're going to run our ground. Take this off without losing it in the door. Got it. So our plan is, with your little eyelet connector here off your ground, to put it in there. So our first step is going to be stripping this black wire. Take your wire strippers, Now, this is pretty thin gauge wire. Not exactly always recommended, but you can fold it over to kind of fit it in your bigger connectors. We'll throw a little dielectric grease on it. And every time you do wiring, you should always have your heat shrink. Slide that on first. If I can fucking get it to fit. So I'm retarded. There we go. With our eyelet. See it there. Crimp that shut. Good, won't come off. Slide that over. Fire up your torch. Now, without burning your fucking truck to the ground, you should be able to get this going. Now, you want to take your drill with a wire wheel brush on it, or if you just have a file or something, just to kind of scratch away right here next to the bolt. You can see right in here. I mean, you can see the fresh steel here, which is perfect. A little dielectric grease on our eyelet. A little bit right here on our connector. Now we can throw our bolt back on. Just like that, we got a strong ground. Alright, we gotta take out these little plastic inserts here all the way around. And then right behind this cover right here, there's a Phillips head screw that needs to come out. And that's all it takes to pop this off.
The door card.
The door card, yeah. So they're just plastic, they just unscrew like such.
Look at that, easy.
Now if you have the proper tool, unlike myself, I don't. So you two-piece it. Throw it in there, and then just pop it out.
You didn't pop the bottom one out yet.
I haven't popped your dad out yet. With the screwdriver, just pop it out so you can pull that out so you don't lose them. Do it for the rest of them. We'll take this screw out. This one fucking just spins like nobody's business. Like such. Alright guys, so behind this little cover here, there we go. Pop that off. Phillips head screw. We're ready to rock and roll. Pull this door card off.
You had it.
I don't know what the fuck I don't right here. In front of my face. Okay, while you're on the inside here, just gotta undo your plugs down here. So I can fucking finger blast it and figure it out. I have no idea how this comes out. I can't see it.
Okay,
Oh, it's right here. The other side just like flew out. Flew out like I did as a baby.
Oh, it's different.
No, that's why. It's fucking retard proof. No wonder I couldn't get it. Okay. So here we gotta pop this trim piece off so we can feed our wire when it comes down the door card through our loom out into the backside behind here. Just take it slow, as this doesn't always come out super easy. You don't want to end up breaking your stuff. So behind here, should be able just to jimmy it out, just like that. Okay guys, so you see there's our red power wire. What we're going to do is run it down here. I'm going to pop this connector off right here for that loom. We drill a hole through because I can't run it through the loom the way the truck's wired in here. Run it through, and I found another hole here, and I already put aftermarket loom on this red positive wire to run it through the hole in there. And to get the wire through there, all I did was I put a piece of coat hanger on it, act like a snake so you can feed it through. So now you're just going to watch as I pull this connector off and run the wire through and connect it up there to run power to it. Okay guys, I'm going to pull this connector out. Just pull your weather stripping back, and in here there's two bolts, or two Torx head screws. We'll take those off. Kind of get them loose, and the rest you can probably do by hand. Again, this truck's a 2017, so fuck all ain't tight on this thing. Just unscrew it. Let me bring the light up here so you guys can see what's going on. Good, put that with the rest of our stuff. Pull the other one out. I know it's kind of hard to see, but you get the gist of it. And this should just pop off just like that. And from there, we can drill a hole through the back side of this, come out the front, so we can run our wire and our loom through. And then from there, run it up the door and connect it to our power wire here. Okay guys, got our drill bit here. I'm just going to drill through the front of this. Alright, as it comes out the front here, get rid of some of this extra rubber. And we can run it through our hole. The loom butt up right against it. We'll be good to go there. Okay, so we got our loom here coming out of our wire. Take our end of our wire, feed it through the hole, and you want it just like that. So when it goes back, it's flush, and this can come up to here. So from there, we can just throw these screws back in, which are here somewhere. Also helps if you put it on the right fucking side of the shit so you don't fuck the dog. God damn fucking came up with this shit. Alright. Let's throw those screws back in. Again, I know it's hard to see in here, guys, but it's just the nature of the beast. Okay, just like that. You want a little more slack in here. When you open and close the door, it doesn't bind. As we come up here, see our wires here. Cut this off. Our wire stripper. We got that up there. Little dielectric grease on this one. Little dielectric grease on that one. Let's throw our connector on and crimp it. Good. Okay, so I got the one side on. I had to go run and grab some new heat shrink here. Slide that over. Connect it into the back. Your other butt connector. Put your dielectric grease on it. Crimp. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then slide your heat shrink over. Fire up your torch and heat her up. Good. Now you can see the way this sits in here. It's not going to be in the way of anything. Just run it down like that. There's no pinch points. It can be hidden behind the door card. Alright. Okay guys, so we're going to throw the door card back in. You got it here. Now things to keep in mind. Make sure you plug your plugs back in. Your door handle's unlocked. And you got to make sure that you get that back in. Just like that. Now over here you can see that other drill that hole that we drilled to leave room for this. Now our other interior piece right here. Just gotta make sure we don't pinch that on there. So these bottom pieces go in first. Just around. Just like that. Okay guys, so running from our battery to our switch. Right there you can see there's that line going through the firewall there with a grommet that's kind of poked out. I was just playing around whether or not I wanted to go through this big grommet here or see what's on the other side of that plastic, but that small grommet, super easy to get to from underneath the dash. So we can run our wires through with new grommet around it so that they don't chafe and cause a fire. Okay guys, so underneath I connected both headlights together. So now this wire I'm running right now is just going to be the wire that runs to your relay. So through our loom hole here, get that going, and then once we get that closer, we'll just slip this loom over it so that it doesn't chafe, and then this wire will run to the relay. Okay guys, so we have our wires running out of the cab. I didn't show you guys that because it's real hard to see. Even the install for the inside of that power wire inside the door there is a real pain in the ass to kind of show you guys, but you get the idea. So I have my wires running out from my grommet right there, coming around just like this. And I have 3 red wires because the way my switches work is the power has to run through them. So I have my 2 switch wires, and this one I marked by tying a knot in it for my power wires to both my lights. Now we're going to be wiring up a relay today, just like that. So the idea of the relay, this has got 5 pins, you only need 4. So the idea of the relay is essentially it's a switch without having a ton of power flow inside your vehicle. Now, you have your ground right here on it. You also have your positive coming from the battery. And you have input from your switch and your output to your lights or whatever else you're running. So it helps stop all the flow of electricity inside in case there's a short. So it keeps everything in the engine bay and neat and clean. Hey guys, okay, as you can see, we got those lights on and all our wiring here for our relay. As you can see, we got our 2 power wires here. Our relay is going to be mounted exactly just like that, and our main ground going to our body ground here. This extra wire, you may be wondering, is going to be in a future video where we put 2 40-inch LED light bars on the front bumper of this truck.
Hey, thanks for watching Northern Automotive. We appreciate you almost as much as donuts and strippers. Almost. I would say subscribe for more, but you already know that. Stay glazed.